Who has started recording? Okay, yeah. Thank you. Ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of SCIMS, I invite you all and I wish you all a very happy International Men's Day. Before we begin the session onto a discussion mode, here's a video that we would like to display for everyone. And formally, Colonel Amit Bhagi, thank you so much for being a part of this event today. Your inputs really would be insightful. I know you personally, and ladies, thank you for being there. And I hope that your brother, your father, or your friend, any one of them would be a part of the event. So if you still haven't roped them in, please do now and get your emotional side onto them and please ask them to be a part of it because I really am looking forward to having this as an insightful discussion and given the guidance of Nanwani ma'am, yes, this has been something that we really have been looking forward to. So Abhijit sir, if I could please request you to play the video.
लड़के नहीं रोते
लड़के रोते नहीं Stop crying, Rohan. Are you a girl? Boys don't cry. Okay? Are you a girl? Why are you crying? Don't behave like a girl. Chalo, boys don't cry. लड़के रोते नहीं मैंने बोला ना लड़के नहीं रोते हैं
लड़के रोते नहीं है
ए लड़के रोते नहीं हैं
लड़के रोते नहीं हैं
लड़के नहीं रोते यार
ओ देवदास छोड़ ना यार लड़के ऐसे नहीं रोते
बचपन से ही सिखाते हैं कि लड़के रोते नहीं हैं। शायद बेहतर होगा अगर हम सिखाएं कि लड़के रुलाते नहीं हैं।
Thank you so much, sir. Video. The theme for today's event is break the toxic masculinity. A family example of my own. So, and I'm sure Bhaiya would completely second that. The epitome of perseverance or being a man in my home is my father. And what is said is about him is कि उनको देखो वो अपने मदर की डेथ पे भी नहीं रोए and which is a fact. He did not even shed a tear when he lost his mother. He didn't shed a tear when he lost his beloved brother. He didn't shed a tear when I was being married off. But there was a marked change in him when my son was born. Anything to do with my son, and Papa is a soft ball. Papa is mushy. Papa is super sensitive. But does that mean that he wasn't sensitive earlier? Absolutely not. I think the way he has brought me up, my brother up, has everything else to say but to what I shared. So, given that, I would really request all of you to please share your stories, your experiences, your views about what is it that it takes to be a man, what have perceptions that are not true, and what does it take to break the toxic masculinity. Abhijit sir, if you do not mind, I'd like to start with you first. Would you please share one of your experiences?
Actually, I don't have much to share, but still, uh, uh, just, just a minute. Huh?
Okay, I think he's having a little. Amit bhai, would you mind if I ask you to please start? If you could just something, share something. There are
Okay,
lots
so
I can share, but I would love it. Go
good
ahead.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. She's a younger sister. Told me about half an hour back to join in. I have no idea what was this about. I just knew it's about the Men's Day. I don't have much to share, but yes, I would like to share my ideas at least. Firstly, I do not believe in the idea of Men's Day and Women's Day. There is no day, right? There is no. We can't say it's that a person may be born a male, but to become a man, it is different. Similarly for women, because masculinity, what we say about femininity and masculinity, femininity is more loving and more touching and more sensitive, whereas the masculinity is supposed to be more macho and more, why are you crying, you're not supposed to cry, the movie that you just showed. The whole idea of the man's day is lost at the end of the movie. The trauma that that particular movie that you showed, the trauma that that kid was going through throughout his life, the idea of being suppressed, it suppressed his emotions, his sentiments. The movie has ended in yet again, you know, mishandling of women by the man. That's a very cliched way to show or start a man's day. That may not be true in most of the cases. It may be true in a lot of cases. A lot of cases, there are times when men are suppressed. They don't talk about it because they're not supposed to be talking about it, right? Men don't cry types. A lot of times, I think most of the times when men cry in their own rooms only and not in front of anybody, again, men are not supposed to cry. A man is not supposed to be complaining about his whole day from morning till night that he slogs. But if he says anything to the woman, that is wrong because he's not supposed to be complaining about what he does. But he should not be saying anything to the woman, right? So my personal thinking is there is no man's or woman's day. There is no comparison between the two genders. They're made biologically, mentally, physically different. Both have to work in sync, and the man suppressing the woman or the woman suppressing the man is just experiences. I have had different experiences in life about the other side that I'm talking about. So I have a bit of experience on those sides. So I don't agree to the whole concept of man woman. We are in sync. We are supposed to be. गदर मूवी देखी थी आपने, सबने देखी होगी, तो उसमें गदर नहीं है, बॉर्डर, तो उसमें एक बहुत ही सही लाइन बोली थी जैकी श्रॉफ ने कि हम ही हम हैं तो क्या हम हैं, तुम ही तुम हो तो क्या तुम हो. That stands correct to every sphere of life. When the Air Force and Army say that Air Force is superior and Army is superior, and then Jackie Shroff says this line. So there's no comparison. There is no. Both have to be in sync. Both work together. Man, woman's day is just a way of celebrating it. No experiences as such. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So I will just share one of my experience like when I was buying my car. So that time it was a red color car, and that particular salesman told me, ki, "Are you buying this car for your wife?" I said, "No, I'm buying the car for myself." But he said, "Ki, nahi, we designed this car in such a manner that uh, ki it is specially made for the woman, or especially made for the ladies. So my car has having that flap is there, na? So on that, on driver side also there is a mirror. Basically, rest of the cars are having only the passenger side as having the mirror in that particular sun flap. But in my car, the on a driver side also in sun flap there is a mirror. Also, I just wanted to share, like, there is nothing called as men and women in current era. Like everyone, like even uh, my personal experience, even my wife is a working woman, and both of us are means both of us are earning for our families. So even in her uh, service book, she I only said, because she is the pensioner, so I only suggested her, write my name as a dependent. So the thing is, I'm like, men cannot be dependent on a woman. So always we say ki, behind every successful man there is a woman, but we never say ki men are also depending upon the woman. So thank you so much.
मैं ना सिर्फ एक चीज सर जानना चाहती हूँ। फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ये समझ आता है। अगर फर्क नहीं पड़ता ये तो ये चीजें जहन में हैं। Why are these things not something which is like, when you're driving in a car and you see something, but you don't per se remember it till the time there's something so beautiful or so impressive that it stays with you. So, subconsciously at a level, would you say that these things they get buried inside us somewhere because it makes that tiniest difference, and this is open to everyone, or you keep on thinking it at a later stage कि आज ये हुआ, you smile about it but you still ponder. So my thing is you're still giving it your energy, you're still giving it your time. अगर फर्क नहीं पड़ता तो जहन में क्यों है? फुले सर, if you could please switch on your camera, and please, ladies and gentlemen, Hindi, whatever you would be comfortable in, please पॉइंट सिर्फ ये है कि शेयर कीजिए हमारे साथ और हमें बताएं, क्योंकि हाँ भैया I'll agree, it was quite an to the David, but that is actually garnered some response. Otherwise, all into the positivity would really not have affected per se. So, Fule sir, if you're there, please could you unmute yourself? Fule sir. All right.
I think he has having some connectivity issue. Just a minute,
All right.
I'm
So,
handing
yeah.
over my laptop to him so that he can speak. Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay. Till then, any of the other attendees, participants who would like to say something about this? Vindhya, can I invite you in?
Hi. I would rather have invited men to talk, but yes, so today I uploaded a story on my Instagram where I said, uh, for all the men in my life, if you want to cry, I'm right here. I wouldn't want to judge you. Uh, I've seen my father crying, I've seen my husband crying, and I somehow feel very blessed. One Yeah, I think this is better. I somehow feel very blessed that I've got two major men in my life who are very open to crying. It's okay. It's okay for them to cry in front of their wife or daughter. And it's beautiful a feeling. I mean, I felt so nice that my father could share something with me which really which really upsetted him a lot. Or even for that matter, I'll tell you this incident why my husband cried. I am a rash driver, not as much as I'm now, but earlier I was. And rash means people tell each other, बिंदिया के पीछे बैठना है ना, इंश्योरेंस करवा के जाना, या are you okay with an accident happening, then you sit behind, you be the pillion rider with Bindya. So once he told me that have you ever seen people in Sassoon Hospital? The way if at all they meet with a major accident and they lose their leg, any kind of limb. What if I lose you? What will I do with this life? And he cried that time. First of all, this important lesson that he gave to me, and the care that he showed towards me, and then he cried. It was beautiful. And imagine how I mean, I never said, oh my God, how can my husband cry on this thing? You know, so whether men can cry or not, whether a man can like the color pink or not, whether he can cook in the kitchen or not, is something that he is to decide. We are not anyone to decide for him. I also remember this one more incident. We had a colleague earlier, Vaishali Dhavne, and she has a small son. Now her son is very interested in kitchen. Okay, all the details of the kitchen. How much dal do we have? How much rice is left? How much do we need to order? I want to learn cooking. So his grandmother used to say, "अरे तू लड़की है क्या? किचन में तेरा काम नहीं है. लड़के किचन में नहीं काम करते हैं." And I mean, that also struck me very strongly, that how can you say this to a kid? He has to decide what he wants to do in his life. And apparently her husband is also a very good cook, so he fulfills his interest in the kitchen, and so does the kid. So why do we set these parameters that a boy can only do ABCD, or a boy is expected to do ABCD? Today we talk of equality, and a lot of women are going on whatever strike, or that we have our rights. So do men have their rights. I mean, stop limiting them from doing something just because he is a man, is all I want to say.
Oh, thank you so much, Bindya. I was completely expecting something like that. Police sir, if you are there, then please, I'm waiting for you. मैं आपका wait कर रही हूँ, आप कुछ कहेंगे. Police sir? Okay. Amit Bhaiya, I'm coming back to you. Given that you have
Yeah, Deepali wanted
family
to say
feud.
something.
Dipali has raised his
Sure,
hand.
Dipali. I'm sorry, Dipali, I could not see your hand raised here on my screen. Dipali, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I had this thing, as Abhinaya ma'am said, that why are we limiting men to a specific job? So earlier when I was I was in graduation, so कभी भी मेरा टायर पंचर होता था या ऐसा कुछ होता था, I used to need someone with me. Either I used to call my male friends to help me or my dad to help me. कि अब मैं रास्ते के बीच में हूँ, मैं क्या करूँ? I cannot do anything. So obviously at that time I used to need help. But after a point I have realized कि no, you don't need men to do this job, you need to do this yourself. मतलब ऐसा कुछ काम पे why do you call men in your life? Why don't you call your mom? Why don't you call a girlfriends? कि कोई men को ही क्यों फोन किया मैंने? Because in my head it is like टायर खराब होना को तो पापा को पता होगा या इनको ही पता होगा. It was a common thing in my head that moment of time. But after I lost my father like some years back, so I realized कि नहीं, I can do this thing at my own. I do not need anyone right now. टायर पंचर हो, कुछ भी बैंक का काम हो, anything मतलब related to the daily routine of our life, basic cylinder उठाना, picking up any heavy things. We don't need men. I live in a family where there's me and my mom. We have no men. Still, I do all the men work in my house, and there is no, I mean, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि you need to have a man in your house फिर ही घर चलेगा. ऐसा तो कुछ है ही नहीं. I do not believe on this right now. I appreciate men, but if by any chance nahi hai to kya, our life doesn't stop over there. We have a life to go forward without men also. So वैसे तो it is International Men's Day, I should talk nice, but this just came into my mind right now. So we are supposed to be nice to men today and like always, but ठीक है.
Oh well, one thing
No,
I
Yeah,
the
would
I
like to
strong
just
say
message
wanted
one
you
to
here
still
on
suggest.
give,
SCIMS.
Dipali, is that we shouldn't stereotype men. That
Yeah,
Right. Yes.
गाड़ी खराब हो गई, किसी बंदे को कॉल कर लो. Yeah, we shouldn't stereotype them. Let them decide what they want to do, like I said before. And if I ask you all, name some famous chefs in India, the first name that would come to our mind is Sanjeev Kapoor or Ranveer
yes,
Brar.
same,
Okay,
same,
they
same
are
thing I
men
just wanted to
and they're
share.
doing it amazingly well. So
Yeah. Shraddha, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just tell me that
Yes,
you have some. I'll just hold on for a moment
yeah,
because. Okay.
yeah.
Shraddha,
Can
please
I
go ahead,
speak?
and then Amit bhai, I'll be coming back to you for that.
Okay. So
Yes,
I
please.
will. So firstly, good
Shraddha, go ahead.
afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to mention that, where we talk about how women should grow and do,
Ashwini,
like,
can you
they're equal.
start the video if possible? Otherwise, it's okay.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. Just a minute. I'm having a few network issues, but yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, yeah, no issues. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you
am
can.
I with? Yeah.
Yes,
So I
Beta.
was just saying that where we talk about women growing and maybe being equal to men and doing things that men also can do, we should also normalize the fact that even men can keep interest in something. Maybe it can be artistic or maybe cooking, as ma'am said, because when we talk about chefs, there are more men, like gender, if you see male in the restaurant business as chefs. So we should
Yeah.
normalize the fact that even guys can cry or have interest in artistic things or on that side. So that's the only thing, because I have seen my dad, he is an amazing cook. So it never really came into my mind that, oh, it's my dad and who's cooking or who likes cooking, because I've seen that since a very like long time. Like when I was a child, he used to like cooking, and I've also seen other guy friends who are of my age who also keep interest in such kind of which are women dominated places. So it actually gives me so much of pleasure. Like it gives me a lot of. I just like seeing all of that, because I'm just like, it's okay. Maybe it's evolving, but we never like normalize the fact that even they might like the things which usually girls like to do.
Thank you
Yes,
so much, Shraddha.
thank you, Beta.
Bhaiya, coming to you now. Some more insights from you, please. You have been listening to most of us, and let me tell you, SIM is definitely is an all-girls institute, and the degree of
Vaishali ma'am is also
self-confidence
wanted to
and
share her views.
being today, right, and being today, they're like right there, believe you me. So, Vaishali ma'am, I'll just come back to you once Bhaiya has said a few words out here.
Yeah, so I was listening to a couple of things, Dipali and Bindya and Shweta. Of course, we don't require each other in each other's lives. We don't require men to change the tires. We don't require women for cleaning the house. We don't require men for lifting your gas cylinders, and we don't require women for cooking. It's a joint effort. It's a family. Even if it's not a family, a person staying alone. It's a joint effort. It's yin and yang. So dependency on each other is very natural. So there is nothing that उसके बिना मेरा काम नहीं चलेगा या उसके बिना मैं काम चला लूंगी. It is not that. Secondly, another thing, what are we talking right now? That men can cry or men can cook or men. This is normal. These days, ma'ams, it is absolutely normal. We do everything in the house, right? In our own houses. Uh, the problem comes where a woman would like to marry and sit at home. Being a housewife is normal. Would you give your daughter to a man who wants to be a house husband? That's difference. So working in the house are very small things. That is something that we all talk about. It's okay that घर पे काम कर रहा है, but अगर वो house husband बनेगा तो वो acceptable नहीं है हमको. It is fine as society, but it's not fine. I will not give my daughter to a guy who is a house husband, right? So little differences. I think the world will evolve. We all have evolved a lot in the last couple of decades. The world will evolve. And my only request on Men's Day is do not cliche men to be twisting an arm and pushing women around. It is not so. A couple of men may be there, but it is not so.
So,
That's all.
thank you so much, because I'll just take it forward from there. The ones like Abhijit sir, and I will most probably not include Nanwani ma'am into this list because she is, I think, yes, from the cusp generation, we are the ones who have lived in them. And now we are completely into the IT generation, or the artificial intelligence generation, the more independent generation. Ideologies are never wrong. There are never a complete rights or complete wrongs. And that is how I would actually support what Bhaiya said, that it's not that we are trying to say that cooking is wrong. No, not at all. So many times, I've even Vishali ma'am, that if I may please have your permission to say so, every morning Vishali ma'am beautifully, she has a beautiful smile on her face, and she gets all these fruits wrapped in foil. Every single day her fruits are wrapped in foil, and after quite a lot of days, I really gathered my courage to ask that why do you wrap up in your foil, because it's a personal choice. And she smiles beautifully and tells me my husband does that every morning for me.
Yes, ma'am. I want to say that.
Right, go ahead, ma'am. Please, this is all yours now. Please go ahead.
Actually, what we are talking, there is in family, there are many families are making difference between men and women. But I think it is changing now, because I want to share one experience when uh, resigned from my job. All of you know I have done, means I'm doing resigned. At that time, my son is in fourth standard. So at that time, it is very necessary for us to, one should see to my child, because it is not my husband's baby sector. It is not possible for us to give, or possible for my husband also to give full time to him. So at that time, my husband told me whether you should do your career, or I will do my career. I said you are. Means उन्होंने ये नहीं बोला कि मैं ही मेरा करियर करूंगा या मैं ही मेरा करियर करूंगा और उसको घर में बैठे, तो उन्होंने बोला नहीं. मतलब ये टेंडेंसी जो है वो चेंज हो रही है अभी. तो अभी जो है कि इंसिडेंस मेरे बेटे के साथ जो हुआ था, रेनकोट खरीदा था और मैंने उसको दिया, तो उसने बोला कि मम्मी ये गर्ल का कलर है, मैं नहीं पहनूंगा. तो ये मुझे लगता है कि हमारे पेरेंट्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि उनको बताना है कि कोई भी हमें डिस्कस नहीं करना है, गर्ल या बॉयज से डिस्कस नहीं करना है, दोनों भी इक्वल है. मतलब ये फैमिली से, हर एक फैमिली से शुरू होना चाहिए, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. तो नाउ the situations are changing, mentality is changing. All are now mentality they are not in and women, they are equal.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll, in fact, say something about my son out here, because sometimes when he just feels like, his friends, he's all of five, his friends have not paid heed to him or something, and then he comes home and he says, Mama, I want to cry for a bit. Is it fine? Absolutely. Mama, can I sit in the room and cry for a bit and I'll be out for my dinner? He's 5-year-old. Sure, go ahead. So the degree of independence, understanding, self-respect at any age has to be respected. I think that is what really makes any day our day, rather than having it, and a great International Men's Day or Women's Day. But then definitely we wanted to celebrate it because we felt that some things, when are taken for granted, after some point need to be acknowledged. Ardhanarishwar as a concept is about half woman and half man. One cannot do without the other, is a fact of life. And when we talk about our fathers, or when we talk about our brothers, um, let's be truthful to ourselves that yes, we imbibe a lot of things in our lives from them. It not be immediately like it can be your cousins, it can be your friends, anyone, but then they definitely play a huge role in trying to emulate, emulate I'm sorry, in trying to just you know give a shape to your personality, what you are. I'll share an example here. When we had come to Pune, and at that time I was around 22 to 23, and I was supposed to go for interviews, and I didn't know anything about Pune. I had an Kinetic Honda, and my brother was doing his graduation here. He's 3 years younger than me. So he says, I asked him, can you take me there? He gave me the key of the Kinetic Honda and says, wo rahi sadak, wo raha police inspector, wo raha traffic havaldar, तूने जहाँ पहुँचना है पहुँच जा. And that time we actually didn't have those mobiles and stuff. We really, I mean, I belong to that generation where we didn't have mobiles, or we had those clicky clock mobiles. I was really angry at him, very angry. But 2 or 3 days later, I understood what he had done for me. And today also, he is my rock of Gibraltar, be it anything. So we still have Praveen sir and Rajesh sir and Phule sir. That please sir, kuch kahiye. We are really waiting for you to say something.
Ma'am, actually, I just wanted to share one incident with my kid. Like my Sasuma always both of them are at home. Like both of us are working. So my mother-in-law and my son is at home. So my Sasuma is always in the kitchen. So my son is also behind her and playing with those chamchas and kadais. And every time she used to say him कि अरे तू क्या लड़की है क्या, ये किचन में थोड़े ना काम कर दे. So उसका एक एटीट्यूड बन रहा था. So one fine day he also said the same thing in front of me and my wife. So every time whenever we go out for the food in a hotel, so every time we used to show him the kitchen and ask him ki how many girls you are, how many ladies are there in a hotel's kitchen. So 90% of the hotels are having the chef or the kitchen is handled by the men. So अभी उसका एटीट्यूड ऐसा हो गया है कि मम्मी वो इडली ना तू हर टाइम अलग अलग बनाती है. वो अपन वो होटल में जाते हैं ना, उसकी इडली कैसे रहती है, सेम रहती है, तू कभी भी जा. और वो मम्मी को बोलता है कि एवरी टाइम यू मेक डिफरेंट इडलीज कभी. So this I just
Very
wanted
true,
to
sir.
share.
Very true. Nanvani ma'am, may I please request you to just give your insights here.
Also, I wanted to share that Ki and Kaka trailer, if
Exactly,
you all
yes.
permit us.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah, just
absolutely. I was
Yeah,
waiting for someone to quote
I
about
have
that.
been listening, and I personally give a lot of weightage to, if I have the liberty to call Amit ji as my bhaiya also. So a lot of, I mean, I find it very, very wise. I think he's speaking out of experience. I wish to state that it has taken all these years for women to break stereotypes. Women, like, as my young friend Dipali said, okay, like, you don't require men. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. You do require everybody, and that is irrespective of gender, because everyone is playing a role, and that role is important rather than the gender playing that role. So I wouldn't go this far as to say that you don't require men or whatever. I think what she meant to say is that whatever men can do, women can do as well. Okay, so that's okay. But that you don't require men is not really, true. Coming to his very pertinent question, like, if I had a daughter, would I get her married to a houseman? Is very pertinent, and it has left me thinking. Because, as I said, the stereotypes where women are concerned, they have broken to some extent, but where it is concerning men, I think it's very difficult to accept that, okay, a man will not work, will sit at home and do all the work. I know it has happened in a movie, it has been portrayed, but it's very difficult to accept it. I truly agree with you. And yes, crying as an emotion has no gender. Color, as colors, do not have any gender. And I have taken the hint, Amit ji. It is a fact, and I have been reading a lot that men today are at the receiving end where sexual harassment cases are concerned. Okay, false cases are lodged. And second, it is not that women alone are victims, whether of abuse, violence, or whatever it is. It's very easy to blame a man and to say that he is harsh. And where it comes to domestic violence, where it comes to relationships getting strained between man and woman, we tend to generalize and we say ye mard to hote hi aise hai. You see, we forget that that violence in the mind is gender neutral. So thank you for that thought. And of course, the purpose of this day is not to really celebrate the men's day like we celebrate the women's day or the men's day. I agree with you on that too. The idea is that men are now feeling burdened by the stereotyping, and that toxic environment has to be removed, just as we are trying to remove the toxic environment in a woman's world. Why can't a man be called as a man, irrespective whether he cries, irrespective whether he wears a pink color shirt, or irrespective whether he carries a car which is having a color which is not considered man? And why can't he be considered as a man still if he sits at home and does chores? I think this requires a lot of thinking and churning, where we as women also are concerned. Somehow the respect for men is earned only when they earn. I think that is unfair. I truly think that is unfair.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
No
Absolutely
words after
right.
that. So, Nithya, coming back to you, if I were to ask some things that, or maybe say, let me give me three things that really would matter to you for the coming years, where these perceptions are concerned, or something that you would like to just say that, one, two, three, this is what we need to follow to have a better, balanced, and a holistic life.
Accept each other is the first. Uh, the whole idea of men and women trying to outrun each other these days, trying to overshadow each other, it is not required. You cannot match men, we cannot match women. We are both at different platforms. We are both at different. There is nothing known as, you know, the. I don't want to be very jihadi types, but uh, accept each other, be respectful to each other, and love each other. That's all. Men don't require much.
Bhaiya, can I request you to share any one experience or example wherein, you know, in a positive manner or in a positive way, something would have really impacted you. Maybe you saw something, you read about something, because I know you read a lot. I know a lot of things about you, but that is something that is uh, the most prominent about you. Any one experience share on this platform.
Yeah, I'll talk about it short. I'll not take much time. I'll just cut it short. I was just commissioned in. I was a lieutenant in 2000, in the year 2000. My grandfather was about 103 years old, my Dadaji, and the doctors had given up. The doctor said, take him home, and he will not survive. He was staying with us. My father, you know, a child imitates. A child is he's a carbon copy of what he sees throughout his life. So he said that you can't help him. You can't help him. Take him home. Dad brought him home. So dad was constructing a house, the first house that he ever made. He was constructing a house those days, and all his savings. He had no money. He had pumped in all his savings, everything. I was just commissioned. I didn't have so much of money, and the doctor said that it'll require about 3.5 lakhs, and the chances of survival is 5%. If he survives, he will not survive for more than 2 months, 2.5 months. Some operation, I don't remember what operation was it. So he had to be shifted to Chandigarh from Patiala. I'm from Patiala. So Dad looked at me, and I looked at Dad, and I practically I said, Dad, let him go. He is old. He's in pain. Let him go. Even if you spend so much, you don't have money. Even if you get money and you spend so much, there is no survival percentage. It's very difficult to. He said, okay. We came back home. Within half an hour, there was an ambulance standing outside, and I went out and I said, Dad, ambulance? He said, I'm taking him there. I said, but he said, 3.5 lakhs. If I can get those 2 months from my father, I will buy it. He didn't have the money. I don't know how he managed it, but that's one of the impactful things in my mind. That's all.
Whoa.
Nothing to do with Men's Day, by the way. Just this.
No. No, it has. It actually has. It has a lot to do with it. I think it just shows that emotions drive life the way nothing else can. Faith drives life the way your faith maybe in each other, in Lord Almighty, because I believe in one thing, and this is something my mom says, jump in, and then everything will fall into place. पानी को भी तोड़ने के लिए रब ने हाथ मारा था तो पानी भी अलग हो गया था. So these are just obstacles in life. So yes, I totally agree to what you just said. Everything has an impact. I invite any one of the participants here to share anything that they have felt that has left an impact on them. Please, it'll be, I implore you, please come forward and there's some male members of Indian station today. Nevertheless, girls and anyone. Abhijit sir, any of the best words from you now, because we are closing the closure of the program. So
Yeah, should we close with the Ki and Kaka trailer?
we would not close with the Ki and Kaka trailer, but we are definitely open to watching it. Please play it for us.
कि आपके रिलेशनशिप में किया इज द मैन?
नहीं, किया एक लड़की है और मैं एक लड़का हूँ. पर आपकी कंफ्यूजन समझ सकता. घर संभाले तो की, बाहर जाकर काम करे तो का. अकॉर्डिंग टू हिंदुस्तानी सभ्यता.
I'm marketing manager. 1.5-2 साल में I'll be vice president.
उसके बाद
I will be CEO.
मैं अपनी माँ जैसा बनना चाहता हूँ.
Excuse me. कौन थी तेरी मॉम यार?
She was a housewife.
क्या?
मैं गे नहीं हूँ. सेक्स चेंज ऑपरेशन भी नहीं कराना चाहता. I like women, I like whiskey. पर ये ऑफिस करियर एम्बिशन के झंझट से दूर रहना चाहता हूँ. रोबो है तू, रोबो. कॉर्पोरेट रोबो. तेरे हार्डवेयर में कोई सॉफ्ट फीलिंग्स ही नहीं.
सॉफ्टनेस है यार. छू के देख.
ये है मोस्ट वांटेड मुन्ना.
पागल मुझसे शादी करना चाहता है.
Do something with your life. सिर्फ वेस्ट क्यों करना चाहते हो किसी का हस्बैंड बन के?
हस्बैंड नहीं, ये मेरी वाइफ बनना चाहता है.
पागल हो गए हो तुम? औरत की कमाई पर जियोगे? मर्द हो तुम. अगर भूल गए हो तो अंदर जाकर चड्डी उतार के एक बार चेक कर लो.
सेक्स हो गया ना, इम्पोर्टेंट बिफोर कमिटमेंट.
जी सुनते हो? रात को ना लेट आना आराम से, कोई जल्दी नहीं.
कैसा पति है तू? एक अबला नारी को जालिम दुनिया में रोजी रोटी कमाने भेजते हुए शर्म नहीं आती?
पैसे चाहिए घर चलाने के लिए.
तेरा यह धर्मेंद्र वाला साहब पहली बार देखकर मेरे अंदर कुछ हो रहा है.
धर्मेंद्र?
तू बड़ी
Sir, thank you. I think from one video to the other. And Nanwani ma'am, if I could please request you to say something and just help us to have a good closure to the program.
Hi, okay, fine. Ma'am is there. Okay.
She's
Yeah,
there.
I have already said it.
Yes.
I can only say this, that whatever has been said by the men and women on this forum has been beautiful and very beautifully anchored program, Sonali. Abhijit, it's always a pleasure to listen to you. And Amit ji, lovely meeting you. I do hope that, you know, when I guess you're in US, I do hope that whenever he's here.
Ma'am, he is in Ramgarh. He is an army officer. He's a commandant with the as a training in the training battalion at Sikh Regiment Center in Ramgarh.
Okay, so he's very much
in US.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you know, whenever you are in Pune, we would love to invite you. You know, wisdom and intelligence is always respected at SVIMS. You symbolize that. But otherwise, also we can always invite you for some online session. Thank you for sparing your time. And thank you all my young friends, all the students who have been here. You know, I hope it gives us all a balanced perspective to look at genders. And it also helps us to understand that men and women make this world beautiful. And somehow men have their roles. I'm not talking of stereotypes here, but there are certain attributes which make them special. There are other attributes that women have that make them special as well. And let us celebrate that special features, that special characteristics, because that is what makes the world happier, peaceful, and livable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so very much for your words and for your encouragement, for your guidance and for your insight. You always are beacon light and always show us something which is not achievable as something which is right at a finger's touch. And we are flourishing under your guidance and just look forward to every single day coming with lots of zest and definitely moving forward in all the directions. Amit Bhaiya, thank you so much. I know it was a very, very last minute message I sent to you, but as usual, always there to save me. as many murders I may do in life. So thank you so much. And yes, I'd love you to come down to Pune and maybe have an offline session and let our girls know about careers in the army, or what is it about women joining the armed forces now? What does it mean for our country? So that happens soon, and hoping when you're here, I can entice you, I can invite you and hold a session here. Everyone, Abhijit sir, and all the other attendees, thank you so much for being here today and making this program what it turned out to be. I look forward to you being a part of the next program that we will be holding in near future. Wishing all of you happy our day, happy us, and walking into a holistic future, into a healthy future, hand in hand, being Arthnarishwar in our real lives. Thank you, namaste, and have a great evening ahead.
Thank you.
Ma'am, may I close the program, please?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.